what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pack Leader Podcast. This is Season 5, Episode 2. BB, how we doing?
Doing well, Coach. How are we?
Good. Coming off of a good alumni weekend / homecoming. Took a few L's in cornhole, but other than that, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, great weekend. Football team won.
Yep.
Lots of events on campus last week, actually, and field hockey's undefeated, ranked second in the country. So, yeah, great weekend.
Yeah, awesome weekend, and it's great to have all of our boys back on campus. It's the one time that we get everybody back and we don't necessarily ask for money, so I think everyone enjoys coming back for it. And this year was pretty cool because I felt like in the last 3 or 4 years that we've done it, it's captured the most guys over all the different generations. Like, we had guys who graduated as recently as last year, and also Alonzo Azamundi. I haven't seen him since I was in high school.
Right, yeah. It was a great time. Good to get together. Like you said, connecting all those generations. And, just a really good weekend of everybody kind of participating in all the stuff. Because normally you get, guys will show up for one thing, and then you don't see them the rest of the weekend, or you don't see them until the end of the weekend. But, yeah, everyone seemed to really be engaged. It was a fun time.
Yeah. I'm calling out Devin Moore, though. He's the only one I only saw for like 2 minutes. So I'm not sure where you were, but we got to do better next year.
That's true.
But anyway, so this is the Captain's Edition this month for our podcast. These guys that are joining us on the podcast were voted by their teammates to be captains for the 2025-2026 season. And so usually we go into our all things Newberry Wrestling segment, but because they have classes and things to do, we're going to go ahead and jump into the interview with them. That way we can send them along their way. So I'm going to turn it over to Bo. Introduce yourself, tell everyone where you're from and how you ended up at Newberry.
My name is Bo Perkins. I'm a sixth year. I'm working on my master's in management, ODL management. I'm from Orlando, Florida. I went to high school at Haggerty High School, and previous to this, I actually wrestled for Coach Brown over at King, spent 4 years over there, came over here last year, ended up getting hurt, and here I am today. So.
Healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So my name's Cale Schrader. I'm from Southwest Missouri. I spent a couple of years at a JUCO. It was NEO. And after that, I got recruited to come out here. So.
I'm Andrew Reed. I'm from Altoona, Iowa. I'm a senior this year, junior on the mat, and Deral was recruiting me at King while he was still at King, and then he kind of came over here and I kind of followed. So.
Yeah. And we are missing one more, John Parker, and that's your protege. So I'm gonna let you tell a little bit about him.
Let's not be spreading all these rumors. No, John's a great guy. He's a fifth year senior. This is last year of eligibility. He is from right outside Jacksonville, Florida, from Yulee, and he was a Marine. Spent 4 years in the Marines, and then he's been here, and he gets me in the room every day at 8 a.m. So he's most of the reason I don't weigh 300 pounds, and also the reason I have a lot more injuries than I did 5 years ago. So
that's true.
There's that.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a working man now. He's, like he said, student teaching, so that's why he couldn't join us. But certainly a great leader for the team. I just want to jump into it. How did it feel to be voted as captains by your teammates?
I mean, I think it feels pretty awesome that we've got an entire team that looks up to us, and they trust us to kind of lead and push our team in the direction we need to go.
Yeah.
It's really an honor just to be a captain for this program, and me and Cale, this is our second. Me, Cale, and John this is our second time around being captain, so it's really an honor.
Yeah.
These guys don't know me, so I came in last year and I haven't wrestled for them or anything. It's nice to see people recognize my hard work and what I have to offer and put trust into me like that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a unique situation where you didn't get to compete last year because of the injury, but to your point, the season that you did have in terms of what you did in the room, out of the room, certainly stuck out to the guys on the team, or you wouldn't have been voted as captain. So, no, one thing we do, I'm sure programs handle it differently. We have a leadership council, which me and Blanton pick, but then the team actually votes for their captain. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4. What responsibility do you guys feel comes with being chosen by the team versus us picking you as captains?
So, yeah, like I was just saying, it's nice that our guys think highly of us enough to where they want to lead. And so that responsibility is just making sure we're working hard, making sure we're holding everybody accountable, and just setting a good example for the team.
Agreed.
I've been in situations where, like at my last school, my last year there, new coach kind of picked captains, like who he thought were the better kids, and people were really upset about that. And like there was this one guy, he may have been a better wrestler, but the team did not want him as their captain. And I feel like when the team gets to pick, it's more of a kind of agreement, and we chose you to do this for us, so there's no resentment or anything.
No, I agree. Definitely.
And I think that we get to hold people to our standard. So if we see something we don't like, we get to call people out on it, and if they don't like it, then
That was their decision.
yeah.
Gotcha, for sure. One thing Blanton always talks about is like the balance that you have to maintain as a captain in holding yourself to a standard that is expected, but also having to still toe the line of humility whenever you do fall short. Kind of talk about how you plan, because no one's perfect, right? Myself included. Like we all have bad days. Like kind of talk about your approach to some of those bad days and making sure that guys know you're allowed to not be perfect, right? Like I might have had a bad day today, but I'm still the captain, and how you plan to navigate some of those situations.
Yeah, like you said, nobody is perfect. We're all human, so there's going to be days where it's a struggle. You might be feeling under the weather, you might be dealing with some sort of injury, and you just kind of have to have the humility to, take some criticism here and there. Make sure you're listening to everybody, and it's just one of those things that, like you said, nobody's perfect. So
Yeah.
just kind of be able to listen to the things around you.
Could be a tough day at Monkey Rolls, But no, if you could describe this team in 3 words, let me hear it. This year's team specifically.
I would use some sort of word for family, unity, I guess.
Cohesion.
Yeah, cohesion. Tough. Like, we got a tough group this year. Nobody's really backing down. Saw that a little bit, or last year, and I feel like this year we got some really solid freshmen. Like, it was a really solid class, recruiting class.
Definitely. Not just freshmen too, but the transfers we got coming in, and they've certainly shown that they can step up to the plate. So.
Yeah, we got Hulky in that room, banging it out every day.
Yeah, I had to go.
A scary dude.
I had to go a 7-minute match for him this past week.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, talked about a word for the team, or 3 words for the team. But what's one word that would describe your leadership style? Because obviously, like you got John Parker, who's kind of quiet, soft-spoken. You 2 guys are a little louder. Bo, you're kind of somewhere in between. But how would you describe your leadership style? And I mean, you can use more than one word, I guess, but having a good balance of different types of captains, but who are all on the same page, I think is huge. And you guys seem to be doing a great job managing that.
A word I can think of is motivative. Just pushing everyone around me, and not just pushing the starting 10, but we're pushing all 40 of the guys to cross the finish line.
I don't know if I could just think of one word, but my goal is to kind of set a good example, just work my butt off and make sure everyone's seeing that, and then also make a point to hold people accountable. I think that's one of the biggest things that's going to push our team towards the goals that we have.
Definitely.
My leadership, like the way I approach things, is I like to flush out the mediocrity, and because by bringing everybody else up, I'm going to eventually come up myself. So if we can have a good base to stand on, then everybody can build from there.
Yeah. And you've all been in college for forever now, 10 years, so you've gotten to wrestle for and under other captains. What would you say is something you've learned from past captains that have kind of helped shape your approach to leading? In a good way or a bad way? It's something you learn to do or to not do.
One thing that I've noticed is a good captain is not, like, yeah, you have to call out stuff when it's bad, but you also kind of have to build people up. You can't just constantly be tearing people down, because it's a quick way to lose respect and kind of divide the team.
Yeah.
Positivity and respect for everybody. Kind of walking around with an ego is not the way to go. Putting yourself on their level and relating to their situations, but like saying, hey, I went through this, like, or this has happened to me, like I've made this mistake before, learn from me. So
Definitely.
Being able to communicate with everyone, like being able just to have a simple conversation, not just about wrestling, but just to get to know everyone on a specific like standard.
Yeah, agree. I think so many. One thing that I am still learning is like, it's yes, wrestling is technical and coaching is a lot about what you know on the mat. But at the end of the day, everything always goes back to communication and the relationship that you have. Like I think that's blanket for anything. Whether you're a teacher in the classroom or whether you're a manager at a Fortune 500 company or whether you're a captain or coach, is like I think the foundation is always the relationship and the communication. So that's a great point.
What's one area that you guys think that the team could grow? Because we've kind of had some positive, words thrown out. Tough, family, that sort of thing. We're not perfect, so as captains, what areas do you guys kind of identify as something that maybe y'all and even us can address and maybe work to improve throughout the season?
I think the biggest thing is kind of our discipline. Sometimes we got people showing up late. Like that's something I think that if we can improve on that, it's gonna make us so much better as a team.
Yeah, doing the little things right would really set us at a different level than a lot of these other programs in the country.
Agreed.
it seems to also be kind of a younger guy issue. It's their first semester, so discipline, like just correcting that, getting them on a good schedule of sleep and all that stuff, and realizing what's important.
Definitely. And I feel like, in comparison to the last season, it has been better. And I feel like even before you guys were named as captains, and not just you, there's been other older guys too who've really stepped up to the plate and saying, hey, you missed 6 a.m. or you were late for the 6 a.m. That's not okay, and here's what we're going to do about it. Even before the votes happened. And so not where we want to be yet as far as that goes, but definitely pushing towards it. So moving off the mat, though, what would you say is one thing about you most guys on the team don't know? Or would be surprised to find out?
I good on a snowboard and a scooter.
That's random. Nice. But you are from Iowa too.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be anybody in any Wii sport.
That's not what Hunter said.
No, so that's crazy because
Wii fanatics over here.
yeah, pretty solid at the Wii. I think that's a good one for both of us.
Nice. And for those who don't know, they're roommates, so that's why they play so much Wii together. What would it be for John? I feel like something random.
He tapes his eyelids closed.
That is a fun fact. That's a fun fact.
It's not a joke.
He's got all the cool military stuff. Like, he knows how to hold his breath for a long time. Like, he's got that perfect running form that doesn't make him, like, get tired. Like, it looks a little odd, but, like, he says it works for him. Like,
So it's kind of cheating.
he's hacking it.
He's hacking
real
the
life
system.
hacking it.
Right, yeah. He's not getting better. You need to cut it out, John.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's funny. What's a song that has to be on your locker room playlist this season?
Big John.
Big John?
Mm.
I don't know that one.
Oh, goodness.
Play
The
it.
country?
It is. It is. A little bit older.
All
A
right.
little older.
Big John?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It ain't my fault, Chief Keef.
Wow. I didn't see that coming. Nice. And then last one, just kind of talking off the mat. What do y'all like to do responsibly off the wrestling mat to recharge?
I think one thing I'm super excited about is gun season for deer hunting just opened up.
Oh, yeah.
So looking to get out there and get a little venison for the freezer.
I'm looking forward to the jerky that I'm going to get from the chili. So. Make sure you bring some back. What about you guys?
I like to golf a lot, so I'd say golf.
Nice.
Disc golf. That's a lot of fun. I was like, I gotta
That's
get into it more. That is kind of cooling off.
Have you been to the course here?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not athletic enough to do either of those. It looks like something I would enjoy doing. So, just kind of wrap it up. What message would you want to send to our fans, alumni, supporters about the team, or just in general as we head into the season?
We've got a good group of guys this year. We're all pretty excited for the year, and we'd love you guys to get out and, if you're able to, come watch some Newberry Wrestling.
Nice. I like it.
Solid group this year. As I say, we got 6 old heads and a solid set of brothers coming your way. So.
Nice. And I think, when I grew up, my parents would always tell me if I was going over to someone's house or whatever, make sure you leave that place better than you found it. And I think legacy is huge. Any coach is always thinking about leaving a program better. But for you guys as captains, how do you want to be remembered when you graduate and walk across the stage?
That I'm not just a good wrestler, but I'm a good person too. That's something I was always brought up on. So.
I was about to go the same way he was,
Copycat.
My bad, man. Beat me to it. But yeah, no, like he said, he was kind of brought up on it, and that's something my mom's always told me is, doesn't matter what you do in sports, it matters how good of a person you are. So you kind of want to be remembered for that.
Along those lines, but your attitude and your work ethic, as well as following, still being a good person. I know that sometimes that's hard. Like some people, kind of not so great people when they're working hard and stuff, and they're pretty self-centered. But finding the balance and like what works best for everybody and myself. So
Agree. Because I feel like at a high level, that you want to compete at. I don't know if you've ever read that book. What's the guy's name that was like Michael Jordan's? Tim Grover. That book.
Relentless?
Yeah, he talks about. I gave it to you to read. Yeah, he talks about going into like that dark place where you got to find that balance. And so I think that's a great point to where you want to maintain being a good person, but you still walk really closely to that line of being in a dark place to be able to get that hide and Jekyll, like that part of you out so that you can compete at a higher level. So it definitely is tough to maintain, and we've certainly had guys on the other side where we're like trying to reel them back in, but we've also had guys where we're trying to push them a little bit further to that line too. So I think that's a huge sports psychology thing that to explore and to read about more, which is kind of why I gave Reed that book. But it's one of the better books I've ever read. Shameless plug for that one. So
yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I got, Blaine. What else can you think of that I might be forgetting?
So you guys being the team captains, kind of a unit, but you're a unit within a unit, which is the team. How do you want this year's team to be remembered? And, kind of your legacy as a captain would be a big part of, what molds that legacy.
I think we kind of aren't we're not in the spotlight at all. We have coming off a couple kind of down years as a team, and I think we have all the parts to go have an explosive year and just kind of show everyone that we're a team they should be watching for. So I think, and it's kind of our job as a captain to keep everybody working towards that goal. And I believe if we can keep everyone on track, I think we can get there.
Awesome.
it's gonna be Coach Brown's first year. He gets a champ. So.
Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. I like that. That's awesome. And just last, I know I said wrapping up. That's the typical coach thing. There's always one more rep. but I wanted to mention this one because I had this written down and didn't ask. Which one of the newcomers do you guys think, it can be freshmen or transfers, that people should be on the lookout for?
Silas. That kid works hard.
Silas.
He's got tough kids in his weight class right now. He's got Cole in his weight class, but
Nice.
that kid works hard.
Yeah, well, I think we've got a lot of new guys and transfers that just work their butt off. You guys mentioned Matt earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were talking about just freshmen.
Both.
Yeah, Matt scraps every day. Silas works real hard. Josh works really hard. So
yeah.
I think we've got a lot of guys that really, really get in there and get after it.
One person that stands out is Gage. Gage Summers works day in and day out. He's in there usually 2 times a day. He's working his butt off every single day. So
Nice, awesome. Well, I'm excited to get into the season with you guys, man. We've been chomping at the bit. I feel like we've been practicing and training and practicing, and I'm just ready to start competing. So I think we couldn't ask for better leaders in you 3, 4. John's not here, but let's have a good year.
Well, that does it for our interview with the captains. Great chat with those guys, and I look forward to them having a great season.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, I wanted to jump into all things Newberry Wrestling. And first and foremost, wanted to give a huge shout out to our pin pool members. We had our phone-a-thon last week. It was another huge success. It's crazy to think it's our 7th annual pin pool that we've
that's wild.
I know, it doesn't feel like we've been doing it that long.
No.
So yeah, it was a great night. We finished the night actually with a little under $250 per pin, and as of this morning, we're at $270 per pin. So I appreciate everyone who's made some pledges since then. I know I checked this morning and Sean Burns was on there and Terry Walton. So really appreciate you helping us reach our goal. I definitely wanted to take a second and shout out our national champion level pin pool members as well as our Olympic level, because those are some pretty big pledges. As you guys know, the national champion level pledges are all ones that are $10 or more per pin, and then the Olympic level are $16 or more per pin. So those are definitely some significant gifts, and every dollar counts, 110%. But we definitely wanted to take a second and just make note of some of those other ones. And so at the national champ level, we have Donna Thomas, Scott Thomas, Sylvia Folsom, Michelle Peltz, Paul Watson, Stan Gilliam, Josh Whitelock, aka Wheezy, Duddy Harvey, Pat and Kim Perkins, and that's Bo. That's his parents that was just in here. And then at the Olympic level, those are the $16 or more per pin. We have Kirsten Benden, Leslie Folsom, Jacoby Benjamin, and Harold Privet. Also, that's James Howard's folks.
Yep.
So huge thank you and shout out to you guys. Now our numbers were a little bit lower, I feel like, at the phone-a-thon, but we were also down 3 people.
Right.
So Jenkins, James Howard, and I think Wyatt Hicks, they still have some cause to make because they had church that night.
Yeah, and even last year, we can go back to 2 years ago when we had to wrestle in the daggum Newberry Open.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we were just flirting with the 400 mark at this point and ended up over 500. So, keep telling your friends, spread the word. Let's grow this thing. Let's make it big. But we do appreciate all the help. You guys are awesome. And that's kind of the lifeblood of this program in terms of us being able to, maintain a high level operations for these guys.
Definitely. And we did add a new option this year to where you don't have to wait till the end of the season to fulfill your pledge. I think, especially for some of those bigger pledges, it can kind of not necessarily sneak up on you because we are updating on how many pins per pledge, but I think it's a lot easier to fulfill it if you can do it monthly. And so we do have an option where you can go to our website and give now and fulfill the pledge for the month. So, if you know that we've got 33 pins by the end of November, then you could just go on and make that gift and we can keep track of it that way. But you can also just wait until the end of the season as well. So that was something a couple people asked about.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, not necessarily sneaking up on you, but it may hit at a time where you just had to replace all 4 tires on your vehicle, or you just had to buy a new vehicle because yours got totaled, or something came up, and that like $10 a pin at let's just say 100 pins in a season, that's $1,000, and while it might be something you could afford, it might not be the best time to do so. So for those who I know my personal situation, I wouldn't be wanting to bite off something that big, especially after some sort of emergency. So the option to kind of bite it off in chunks, I think, is going to make it a lot easier on folks to donate. And I mean, if we're not making it easy for folks to give us money, what are we doing?
Right. So I'll make sure I put that information in the email that I send out monthly. That way, if that's something that you want to do, you can feel free to make sure you can square it away that way. And speaking of the pin pool, we're going to start counting this Saturday with our intra-squad match. So those pins, everything, usually the general rule of thumb for us is anything that we can count in track wrestling is what we count. That way we can provide that data for you to vouch for the pin. So we'll start that this Saturday. And ways that you can help us reach our goal is by going to our official website. You'll find the link to the pin pool form on there. But also, once you have that link, if you've already pledged, you can simply copy and paste it and share it on your social media. You can text it out to your family and friends. It's pretty easy to go on there and send that pledge in. And then once I have it, we do a pretty good job of making sure we try to stay in contact with you guys. That way you just are in the loop. So please help us reach that goal. We've set it for $350 per pin by the end of the season. And it does start this Saturday. And speaking of this Saturday, we hope we see you guys out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got our inter squad. It'll be, weather permitting, it'll be back out on the baseball field like it has been the last couple of years. We've tried a little earlier, tried a little later. We figured out worst case scenario, earlier is better, so we'll be going at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
We'll have hopefully all of the same
Things.
fanfare, the DJ, the vendors, food trucks, that sort of thing. So it should be a fun time. Last year it was a great time. Kind of packed, crowded, music bumping. It was a good time. So come on out, have fun with us. And one last point on the pin pool. You know, a lot of folks like to see their dollars at work, and you know, knowing that you might be donating this amount of money that's basically going to one night at a hotel or something, you know, that's not the most fun way to think about where your money's going. So we do have pin pool splash items that we will be sending out in the coach's monthly newsletter. So just keep an eye out for that if you want to, like I said, kind of see your dollars at work. You know, there's some items that, you know, kind of bigger ticket items that, you know, doing that would certainly land you in one of the top tiers of the pin pool. So just wanted to point that out.
That's a good point. I forgot to mention that. An example of one of those is last year, Bernie and Michelle Peltz, they donated the nice iPads for us, and that was a splash item, something that we're using every day in the wrestling room. We take it and travel with it to make sure we're filming whenever we're not having someone travel with us to film. So great example. I appreciate you bringing that up. And at the inter squad match you mentioned, so we're not actually going with the DJ this year. Wasn't able to secure one of those, but we will have music. There's music out there at the venue. There's going to be Smokes Crossroads Barbecue. It was delicious. We had it last year. They're going to be pulling up in the same spot again this year. And then Dutton's Creations is coming. She's a local vendor who just does, you know, hats. She has all kind of things. This hat I'm wearing actually is one she made at the inter squad last year that a lot of people have been asking about. So she'll be out there printing these on site. She has like a little laser 3D printer thing she does. So come on out, get some gear, have some good food, bring a cooler, chair, and enjoy some wrestling. So we'll start the tailgate at 11 a.m. and then matches will start promptly at 1 p.m. too. And so special thanks to Justina because she also is having the Spirit Squad join us along with Scar. So it should be a really good environment to come and start the season. Competition wise, so that's on October 25th, this Saturday. Competition wise, we're pretty happy to have Flow Wrestling's Night in America series come to Newberry for our home opener when we take on Montevallo and Emmanuel. For those who don't know what the Night in America series is basically they feature non-Division I duels once a week all throughout the season, and it's first come first serve. So they send out an email over the summer and you apply, and if you come in the queue at the right time, then they say, all right, we'll pull up. And so I've been working with their team to make sure that we got all the logistics in place. There has been a time change. I think on the website we initially planned to start Wrestling Montevallo at 5:30. We're going to actually start the duels at 5 p.m. But I'm excited. The Night in America, so we've leaned into that in terms of promotion. We got a pretty cool t-shirt that we're making, that we've made the official shirt that's on Influxer. That's the NIL company that we're partnered with for our athletic department. So you can go on there and get you an official t-shirt. But we're also having a Most Patriotic contest as well. So in between the duels, we want our Newberry College students to show up, and whatever that means, maybe you're painting like the flag, I don't know. So yeah, something like that, and we'll have it where you're voting. So we're gonna have registration through campus groups, and that's how you will register for the Most Patriotic contest. So make sure you keep an eye on social media for details on that, but excited for a good event.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, it's going to be a good night to come out and watch some wrestling, because it's not, like you said, it is us wrestling Montevallo and Emmanuel, but there will be multiple duels. Alan's going to be there too. Alan will be there as well, competing against those two schools. So we won't wrestle Alan that night. We'll actually wrestle them later in the year. But there's going to be lots of teams wrestling lots of teams. We'll have 2 mats going at a time in the gym, so it's not just going to be, come watch 1 or 2 duels and go home. There's going to be, I think, 4 total duels that night. So, lots of good wrestling. So if you want to come see us wrestle and maybe see some other teams in our region and just have a good night of lots of good wrestling, come on out.
Absolutely. And that is on November 13th, like I said, starting at 5 p.m. I am moving on a little side quest to make this Ask PLV a thing. It's not really a thing yet. It's not catching how I wanted to catch, but it's also because I got to remember to post it more than 12 hours before we actually record.
Right.
So I'm not doing a good job there, but I am trying to make this a thing. So help me out. Ask PLP, like I said in the last episode, is pretty much my spinoff of Ask FRL for Flow Wrestling Radio Live. And really just a way to engage with our supporters, to answer anything you might be curious about that has something to do with Newberry Wrestling. It could be on or off the mat. It could be about the coaching staff. It could be about the guys on the team, whatever it is, but just wanting an additional way to engage with you guys. So I'll make sure I'm doing better with posting that. Right. But when you see it, feel free to hit us up with any of your questions.
We should just post it along with the video, so that any questions that you might have, when you see this video, you're reminded and then you just click, when the video's over, you just click the next post, and it's, Ask PLP, and that'll be the questions that we
Do for the next
do
one.
for the next episode. So kind of like a double post every time.
See, you gotta help me remember that. I like that idea. So yeah, we'll circle back to that. Hopefully more to come on the next
When
one.
y'all edit this, do that for us.
Awesome. So next up, we just wanted to kind of chat about everything else. There's been a few coaching changes that I thought were pretty interesting, especially with the Citadel being an in-state school. LeBlanc head coach LeBlanc there took a job at Buffalo, and he's actually from upstate New York, so that made sense for him to go. But with that, they have named Luke Welch the new interim head coach there, and they just brought on Dejon Castro as the new assistant, who was a really solid standout for them too. So just some cool news for in-state wrestling. I did see that Patrick Brophy ended up transferring to NC State, who was one of their better wrestlers.
Yep. So not the best news for Coach Welch, but
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing him do well at NC State. He's actually a local kid. He's from Chapin, right up the road, and he's had some success at the Citadel. He comes and rolls around with me and Reed and John Parker in the summers because it's closer to home than the Citadel.
Yep.
But no, good kid, and we wish him the best of luck.
Yep, and another name that I was really familiar with back from when we wrestled, Chris Basford. He's been named the associate head coach at Glenville State.
Nice.
And they say he comes there with a immense amount of experience and knowledge at all levels of collegiate wrestling. He wrestled at West Lib. He graduated in 2003, and then his first job was at Omaha when they had that crazy stretch out there. So that's where we're more familiar with him. But since he's been at Limestone, he was at a D3, and so definitely a great pickup in them adding him.
Yeah, no, that's awesome for him because, like you said, his most recent stint that we were familiar with was up at Limestone, and then, rough stretch there. That program's now non-existent. So for him to land at Glenville is awesome because Glenville's kind of been on the come up the last few years.
Definitely. And then I'm sure everyone saw the news at Grandview, where Nick Mitchell stepped down after 17 seasons. I saw where I think that he led them to 13 national titles,
Yeah,
which is
they've
crazy.
been on a little run.
Yeah, so that was pretty big news, and they just said basically he stepped down to pursue other opportunities outside of wrestling, but definitely it was interesting to see. But in the meantime, they've named Grant Henderson as the new head coach, and he's really familiar with the program as he's been there under the former head coach. So that's a coaching change to look up to. And then next up, I wanted to jump into our game of emphasis. So I believe Friday, October 24th, we have men's and women's cross-country send-off, and I imagine we're just doing that here in the quad.
Yeah, I think that tends to be how those go because it's hard to watch a cross-country meet.
Yeah.
You just kind of get to see them going and then
Right.
coming. But yeah, so some of those sports like that kind of do the send off, but then we follow that up the following Tuesday. Field hockey, which like we discussed earlier, they're ranked like 2 in the nation. They're crushing it. They're undefeated. They're playing Wingate at home on Setzer Field at 7 p.m. Again, that's Tuesday, October 28th, and so that should be a good one.
Yep, and then Friday, November 5th, women's triathlon send-off. And so with that being said, you kind of already said it a couple times. I just wanted to shout out all of our fall sports, and Ryan, you might have to help me here, but it's been a crazy fall in terms of just everyone having a tremendous season. Like football, they're coming off that win. They're ranked number 1 in the SAC now. Just came out, they were 24 nationally, I think I saw.
Came out yesterday.
And then field hockey, obviously crushing it. They're undefeated, 12-0, something like that.
They're yes, and they're number 3 in the nation.
3. My
Okay.
bad. I was
Yeah.
trying to give them too much credit, but
Either way.
they deserve all the credit I gave them.
Exactly.
For sure.
Men's and women's soccer, I know that at one point they were on some undefeated streak, but still having really good seasons, both of them. And then, am I missing any other sports? Those are the ones that just came to mind.
I know
Volleyball.
cross country's had some standout performances individually so far this year.
Yeah, they've had a few people that have finished in the top 10.
Yeah, do we have a champion like the Bob Jones or something like that? One of the earlier ones.
I think Tyler Shoemate. He placed first. I think
Nice.
it was. I want to say it was Bob Jones, but I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay. Awesome. Well, yeah, congrats to all of the fall sports, and hope to see you keep it rolling. And then hopefully the game plan is to take the baton and then keep it rolling once
Right.
we jump into the season as well. So
Don't fumble it.
Yeah, don't fumble it. But no, it's been great vibes around here, and anytime your sports teams are doing well, it makes for a really good environment and atmosphere. So wanted to take a second and just shout them up or shout them out. But next up is just wanted to remind you guys, you can catch this podcast not only on YouTube, but if you're busy and on the go, like Coach and myself, you can also stream us on the go with Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. It makes it pretty easy to just listen to it, especially like me, I have a lot of windshield time every day, so it's easy to just put on a podcast while I'm driving here from Columbia. And so definitely, if you don't have time to watch us, catch us on Spotify and Apple Music. And then if you're not following us on social media, please give us a follow on Instagram. Go see one of Blanton's quotes or Facebook, and just stay plugged in. All right. Am I forgetting anything?
No, I think that's it. If anybody is really bored and needs something to do, Whitaker floor covering 7 and 8 year old soccer teams playing Thursday at Prosperity Town Center at 6:45. So you can come watch me lose my mind yelling at 8-year-olds.
That's awesome. We'll see you next episode.